qualifications and experience for this role. He's led the Denver International Airport, one of the busiest airports in the world, managed large safety-focused transportation agencies, and served as command sergeant major in the military. This was a veteran of the military. This was a veteran. There were games that we played on, an onslaught of unfounded Republican attacks on Mr. Washington, on his service, his experience, and which irresponsibly delayed the process.
It's the White House press secretary explaining why Philip Washington withdrew his name from becoming FAA director. She cited, as you heard, unfounded Republican attacks. Never mind for a second, Democrats still control the Senate, so there is that in terms of a confirmation vote. But let's just for a second remember exactly what the attacks were.
What airspace requires an ADS-B transponder?
Not sure I can answer that question right now.
So what are the 6 types of special use airspace that protect this national security that appear on FAA charts?
Sorry, Senator, I cannot answer that question.
So what are the operational limitations of a pilot flying under basic med?
I'm not a pilot, so...
Can you tell me what the minimum separation distance is for landing and departing airliners during the daytime?
I don't want to guess on that.
Do you know the difference between those two, Part 44809 and Part 107? Do you know the difference there?
No, I cannot.
So that's the White House's bar for, in their words, a partisan attack. And of course, it comes at an important time. Since the first of the year, there have been 11 close calls at America's airports that we know of. And there are real questions about how the training and standards for our air traffic controllers are being enforced, but also for our pilots as well. That all comes back to the FAA. Niall Stanage is here, White House columnist for our partners at The Hill. Good to see you. Does the White House realize they've got a vulnerability here?
They sure do realize they have a vulnerability because they have nominated this person who has had to withdraw. That is always going to be a political defeat anytime that happens to any nominee. What gives it extra sharpness here is the recent troubles that the FAA has experienced. Not just those close misses that you mentioned, but also, of course, the famous very close together meltdown with Southwest around the Christmas holidays, and then a computer failure the following month, which grounded so many flights. So you have a troubled agency and a nominee who has failed to win confirmation. That's a bad combination for the White House's perspective.
The person who we're not talking about in all of this is Pete Buttigieg, who's the head of this, Secretary of Transportation, therefore the head of the agency, even over the FAA. How much of a vulnerability does the White House see if one of these close calls turns into a real tragedy, a real crash, that both Pete Buttigieg and to a certain extent the president are going to have to answer some very uncomfortable questions about who was running the ship?
Well, first of all, on a human level, we all hope that no
100%.
Such thing happens and nothing comes close to that happening. If it does, that is obviously a major, major problem politically as well as because of its human impact. It is absolutely a key responsibility of the president and of members of his cabinet to keep Americans safe. We know that Americans are already nervous about this failure to deal with air travel efficiently. It is something that there is an existing concern about. If that concern then topples over into something tragic happening, then that leaves the White House and Secretary Buttigieg, for that matter, in a very, very weak position. So it is a problem.
Yeah, and you can combine some of the other agency failures, too. I'm thinking about the FDA issues that you and I have talked about with baby formula and the like. Niall, it's good to see you. We appreciate it. Back to Nashville in a minute. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.